as a veteran, small business owner, what can we do for you?
What we can all do for all veteran business owners is promote each other.
My main mission was to look at tools and technology to leverage small business and give them more of a competitive advantage.
My mission for Veteran Bargains is very simple: to help vets.
That story in itself, to run for Vista City Council, is a journey.
I think this is an opportunity to really collaborate with those gone before us.
It's really kind of a labor of love.
And now your host.
Good afternoon and happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to the Veterans Chamber Radio Show. Today, we have a great show planned for you. We've got some announcements to make, and I think towards the end, we're going to have our executive director join us, Joe Molina, with the Veterans Chamber of Commerce. I would like to thank our backstage people that are actually running the show behind the scenes for us. Michael Woods, who's our producer, and we also have Laura Torres. She is actually our co-host, and today she's working behind the scenes. And Dolly, who is normally with our social media team, and she hopefully will be chiming in and watching for all the comments that are coming through for the show today. So what I'd like to do is start it out with we have an event coming up for the Inland Empire chapter of the Veterans Chamber of Commerce. On July 31st, we're going to have our first leadership event, which is going to be where we actually have Stacy O'Byrne as our speaker that day, and she's going to be talking about successology. And she is also a former U.S. Army veteran, so we're very excited to have Stacy there. We have some city officials that'll be joining us, and we would love to just rally all of the veteran business owners in our community to be a part of that event. And I know that we'll have in the show notes, we'll actually be showing the link for that event that's coming up on July 31st. With that, last week we had a wonderful guest. We had Abby Montez, who is actually also a former veteran and Marine. And you could catch all of the episodes, subscribe to the Veterans Chamber Radio Show on YouTube. We also stream live on Facebook. So I'm excited to just get this show started, and I'm going to welcome on Laura Torres. Hi, Laura. How are you?
Hi, Shelly. Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging my presence. And I am, yes, behind the scenes today, learning a little bit about the show production and making sure that everything is running behind smoothly, and also learning about how we handle everything behind the scenes, because Michael is our brain, and we want to make sure that, if the event that he also has any sort of a personal time that he needs, that there's someone back up who can fulfill his big shoes. But at the same time, I'm also here. So I wanted to pop in and say hello and greet you, Shelly, and thank you so much for that. And I'm so excited to hear about your event that is coming up in Riverside. And so we'll definitely look forward to that. Your special guest, with whom you'll be speaking with in a little bit, Mark Maes, will be also sharing a lot more on behalf of that as well with you, perhaps, in discussing that. But I also wanted to take this opportunity at this just brief segment and a spotlight to remind everyone that we have our Veteran Chamber of Commerce newsletters, and we actually have two separate issues. One of them went out today, and it's all about our Veterans Radio Show. It has a recap of all of our previous guests, our future guests, and who's coming on and all that stuff. And it's all focused on the Veteran Radio Show. And then we have the following week, we will have our general member show, where we actually do all announcements. We do our events, activities, everything else, our member spotlight. So none related to the radio show. And so if you are a general member and would like to get your stuff into that newsletter, let us know, because we have a little bit over 70,000 member reach that this newsletter can get you to in front of someone. So with that, I just wanted to remind everyone that we have those. So it's every other Wednesday, every other Thursday, our newsletter goes into your inbox, and one is for the Veterans Radio Show, and then the following opposite week, it's the general member newsletter. So with that, I just greet you and wish you everyone a happy Friday, and I'm going to move myself out. Thanks, Shelly.
Thank you very much, Laura. Yeah, and actually, I would love to just make sure that everybody knows about all the programs through the Veterans Chamber of Commerce. So visit the website and you'll see all of the wonderful programs that we have with the Veterans Chamber. And right now, we have our guest today, who is Mark Maes, and he's just joined us. And hi, Mark, how are you?
Hello, Shelley. How are you?
Doing good. I love your background back there. You've got a beautiful piano that I'm sure get. Love it.
Play a little bit.
There we go. Well, here on the show, we'd love to welcome Mark. He's our guest today. And Mark is actually the president and founder of Maes and Associates. And he is the creator of the High Five Priority Business Mapping Program. I personally have worked with Mark for, 4 years, I think, Mark, for the last 4 years. And he has been my business advisor. And everybody is in for a treat today because Mark has been, not only is he part of the Veterans Chamber of Commerce and co-director with me for the Inland Empire chapter, but he's very much involved in a program that we're going to be talking about today that Mark has created along with Joseph Molina, who is the executive director of the chamber. So with that, Mark, welcome to the radio show. And how are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. And again, I want to thank you for inviting me to be a part of this. I'm really looking forward to this time. You know me, I'm all business all of the time. So this is a great opportunity to just share and communicate, frontline, firsthand with people.
Yeah, no, and we appreciate you being here, Mark. And I would love to find out if you could share the story of how you really started your adventure with the Veterans Chamber of Commerce.
Oh my gosh, you've experienced it firsthand. It was just I'm the guy that, I don't believe in things being by chance. I think everything is for a purpose and on purpose. And that opportunity that you shared with me to go experience that meeting, that first meeting when you went down to Oceanside and had that meeting, it was powerful. And I was invited to just do what I do for you and advise and listen and ask questions. And I told you when we were coming back, since we rode together, there was just something unique about those people, that team, and the purpose of that team. And I just felt an awareness to that. And as you know, it migrated. We talked about it a few times. And then it just 2 weeks, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks later, I get a phone call from Joe saying the same thing. And we sat down and talked, and it was just on ever since then. And it's just, it's been quite such an experience. It's something I'll, no doubt, as I get older, I'll be sitting on the porch telling people about the story of that experience.
So and I remember that. Yeah, it has. And I'm glad that you're part of the Veterans Chamber of Commerce, because now I would love to talk about the program that you've created with Joe. So tell us about the program that's being offered to our veterans.
Yes, it's called the MEA program, Military Executive Academy. And what it is the hybrid, thoroughbred, best practices, if you will, of business. And really, that's the whole purpose of what I do. I'm an executive business advisor. And this that we're teaching to our military is the core fundamentals that I always go back to with our clients, that our businesses are based on, the understanding and the wherewithal of those key 5 departments. And then the what do you do with that knowledge and how to maximize their performance. So what it does, the MEA program, Military Executive Academy, is, for me, I have this opportunity to share this knowledge, these gifts and talents and resources to our military veteran. And my story and the backstory of that. I'm sure we'll get to that another time.
We'll get into that. Yeah.
But this is really that. Our veterans can now, after serving their tours, their duties of being enlisted men for our military, our armed forces, to be able to come back now as they return back into the private sector and to take those fundamentals, those core values that they have been taught so well through the service, to bring them back and to run them through this program. And we go straight to the meat and potatoes of business. We break down the intimacies of those 5 departments, how they work together, and then we get a hold of their leadership and empowerment, and we show them as leaders, as business owners or investors, how to be able to take a vision, from a vision to create a purposeful plan that's supported by smart goals, action steps, and accomplishments
Right.
through this process.
Right. And really this whole, yeah.
Sorry.
And the whole program is really designed around those 5 departments of business. And you're going to do this in a workshop format, correct? Workshop and also consulting?
These that I'm speaking
So tell
to,
us how,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay. No, I was going to say, tell us how this program is going to be offered to our veterans and, how can they participate?
You can go to the VCC, our Veterans Chamber of Commerce website, and sign up. It's MEA, Military Executive Academy. But what it is, Shelley, it's an online course where they get hands-on interaction with myself and our team to navigate and coach them all the way through this training session, these training sessions. And this is also going to be offered at the community college level. It's going to be offered at universities, private business courses. But right now, we're focusing on our veterans and how can we bring our veterans, pull them into this, trim off the fat of what you don't really need to know or secondary information, but teach them how to focus right on the vision and outcome process. But they have to understand the horsepower of business and how it works together. So these will be online courses that will have others focused on-site training or on-hands business with them in their businesses, or to really walk them through this accredited program to get through and to get high scores.
Yeah. And I would imagine that really this program is designed for any type of business, for a veteran who owns a company where, I mean, from a flower shop to, maybe I'm trying to think of another industry, but I would imagine that it's really available for those veterans who want to have this type of training and really enhance their experience and expertise.
Yeah, I'm going to use an analogy for a guy. It's like putting a turbocharger on an engine. This High Five, this MEA program, teaches you best practices of the things most all of us have learned through life, through college, through business courses, through all of the experiences and mentors. It just pulls it together, aligns it, and maximizes the focus and the efficiencies and the performance of it. And, it's whether it's, we work with Fortune 100 companies, whether we're working with a startup, whether we're working with a bank, whether we're working with an investor, whether we're working with somebody that just decided, you know what, I'm not going back to work no more. I have a great idea. I want to do it myself. I see other people doing it. We get right alongside of them. And the great benefit to this is that it cuts you out the learning curve. Shelley, you're a business owner. As a business owner, how many times you learn by making mistakes. This makes those,
so true,
streamlines them, pulls them together, and saves you the cost of the mistake and gets you something none of us can get extra, and that's time. And it maximizes the efficiencies of your time spent.
And how does that feel when you know that you're really making significant progress with a business owner, whether it's a veteran or a company, that you're utilizing your program and they're implementing this within their company, the program that you have with High Five?
Yeah, great question. I think of Oprah's statement, those aha moments. For me, I say it as the lights go on. Shelley, you and I know it as posted squirrel. What is it? Squirrel. What do you call that? Squirrel moment. Where you get an idea, it comes up, and we address it right then, because that's where the magic is. I absolutely believe, and you know me well enough to know, I'm the guy that believes we have all that we need to accomplish all that we desire. But that's not enough, because we have responsibilities with those privileges to step forward and to be deliberate about causing it to happen. But if we are, it will.
Yeah.
And really, that's what this does. So So in business owners, whether you are that person that's just, I'm not going back to work, I'm going to go for it now. This is where we take your, really with the high five, it's the facts, the what of business, those 5 departments, and then it's the how. You know, what do you do with that information? So even for those startups right now, the people that are just from this program deciding, you know what, that guy made it sound really easy, I'm going to go for it. And I'll tell you, get my contact information, hold me accountable to that. I will never tell you something that's not true, and you can hold me 100% accountable for everything I ever tell you, and my services are guaranteed. Tell me another advisor you know that does that. And that's because this is just empowerment. It's not a bunch of smoke and mirrors. It's not a bunch of technology items. It's just about lining up core fundamental beliefs that work. And Shelley, you know the difference. You know how it sorts through the minutia, the fog of uncertainty, and how it allows you to be deliberate about mastering the 80-20 rule. I didn't bring that. I didn't make that rule up. You didn't make it up. It's been around for hundreds of years, but we know it exists. And how can you be? Imagine if you could just manage the 80-20 rule in your day, and then we get 365 days in a row, and then we get 5 years at a time, and then those 5 years become 10 years. Where would you be? You know, we all can answer
something to ponder. Really, really quick, we're going to do a real quick recap and announce our sponsor for this show. You are watching the Veterans Chamber radio show, and I have our guest here today, Mark Maes with Maes and Associates. And I would like to give a big shout out to our sponsor for this show is Never Forgotten Media with Michael Woods. I was going to say a different name. Sorry about that. So anyway, I would love to have, your feedback. If we can maybe look at some of the comments that we're getting through with social media. Do we have any comments coming through? I know Dahlia was on, we had a few coming through. Okay. Well, we're going to come back with Mark. I'm looking forward to it. Oh, thank you, Dolly. So we're going to come back with Mark and ask a few more questions for the Veterans Chamber radio show. Mark, I would just kind of like to throw it back to the, as far as the program that we were talking about, how do you see kind of the program with MEA as far as going into 2020? I know that, we're talking about some other things and the high five, but I'd really like to find out, where do you see the program going in 2020 with the MEA program?
The timing it's all for now. Shelley, the horsepower, the benefit of this program, and right now is the platform and the soil, the foundation for opportunity. It's so easy to be discouraged. I mean, all of us, we're human beings. You get locked up in your house for months on end, and your whole life is turned upside down. All of these conditions that we as human beings naturally will process will lead us to feel bitter, will lead us to feel down, will lead us to feel all of these things that are not our best. But the great thing, as you know, in the high five, part of the things we talk about is the oil, our mindset. And right now is the time to grab a hold of that mindset and to manage and capture your thoughts, because those are lies, and we know that's stinking thinking, or that's negative, or that's what those components are. We feel it. We've been locked up. We feel these feelings, no denying that. But when we just own what that feeling is, look at it and say, you know what, I know why I'm feeling this way, but I don't have to. And I'm done feeling this way. I'm walking away from that, because the fact of the matter is that you, myself, everybody that's listening to this, we have what we need to accomplish all that we desire. But you got to get up off the couch. You got to get up off the worry. You got to get up off the why nots and grab a hold of the how, to grab a hold of the I will, grab a hold of the ask instead of the but. and to say this is what I need to do. This is what I want to make accomplish. How do I do that? Through the MEA program, our government provides these tremendous resources and benefits for our veterans around the world for them at every level. I'm amazed at what those resources and contacts are. And through the Veterans Chamber of Commerce, that's where they connect the dots. That's when they take the need of the person and connect them to the resources of the government and the veterans. Not just the government, because the veterans they have a whole world within themselves of how they put together, and they have entities and power partners and resources within themselves, and like in community and like in government and like in our world that we see now, it's the patriot mindset to say, I'm not going to be a victim, I'm going to be a victor. And you can pull together these resources and grab a hold of that and go where you want to go. And right now, the freeways are here. Everybody at home, get on the freeway, carve out your pathway and get on your journey to success.
Yeah. And speaking of that, so how can the chamber help you, the Veterans Chamber, in, just in your business?
Yes. That's a really important question for business owners. I would put out to the audience right now to say, what do you need really right now in this time? And don't limit your thinking. We only know what we know, but when we allow ourselves to be broader than that, tremendous, great things happen. But we have to. We actually
have a comment coming in from Facebook. So yes, our stinking thinking can really get in the way. I fight it daily.
Yeah. The rest of the
world.
Powerful
words.
Yeah.
Powerful words. Yeah.
It's a real deal. It's, I've spent years and years learning about, the NLP, the understanding of the mindset, the management of and diplomacy and disciplines of mindset, and how leadership and management and the differences of that. And I got to tell you, the net takeaway is the same thing you walk in the door with. It's in you. You have it.
It is. You have all that you need, right? It's just for you to figure it out, or work with a business consultant. Don't you think that a lot of businesses, sometimes when they get started, they start off and they have, they think that they have all that they need. However, the one thing that sometimes they're missing is that component of being the CEO of a company, right? They have the operations piece, or they'll have, and tell quickly what those 5 departments are, just the topics of them. And then we'll kind of, ask a few questions.
Just like the business card, those 5 colors. Yellow is marketing. Orange, sales, department 2. Finance and administration, 3, that's the green. 4, operations. That's where 78 to 80% of the businesses in the world start there. They originate there. They're good at their craft. They're passionate about what they do, so they go into business. But when you go into business, it becomes horizontal, because as a CEO, you have to manage the disciplines and responsibilities and needs of all 5 of those departments: marketing, sales, finance and administration, operations, and the final one is brand and company growth management. When you embrace those as a company instead of just operations, it takes out the ebb and flow of a wild sea and gives you a calm sea to get across, to go where you're going.
Yeah. Well, we have your website up right now. So we really encourage our audience to take a look at Maes and Associates. And the link is right now up on the screen if you're watching us live. And I know we just have a few minutes left, Mark. And what I'd like to find out is what's next for you, just in business and, for 2020, what's next for you?
I'm really passionate about this veterans support, this MEA program, but that's one of the legs. But even in that, it's being able to help show other people how, whether they're business owners or not, how to tap into their resources, to consider things like power partners. Consider really what's their perfect.
That's great advice.
It really, really is important. And then you can show them. It's like teaching them how to fish instead of giving them fish. And that's our response. I believe that's our responsibility here in this season we call life. You know, what can we give back? And when we're more, I believe that when we're more focused and pushing in and pressing in, the benefits are abundant.
They can be. And how are you handling COVID-19 with your business?
Oh, we're extremely busy right now. A lot of great opportunities to empower people. You know, we're working with cities, we're working with chambers of commerce, we're busy with the Veterans Chamber of Commerce, and that's a national launch program. So you'll see that around the world, throughout the United States, and that's very, very impactful right now, because there's so many people that can utilize this information now in their business, even if they don't own a business.
And how can people get a hold of you, Mark? Your email, can you provide your email for us?
Yeah, so my email, I believe, is on the screen, mmes@maesllc.org. You can call our office at 951-785-9000. My direct line is 909-322-7374. You're not by yourself. I can tell you, for me, you are not by yourself. If you have a problem in business, call me. I might not be able to help you, but I will help connect you to the resources that can. And that's all.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
It's a village.
Yeah. And speaking of a village, we have an event coming up that we would love to have a village come and join us. We have it's the Inland Empire Veterans. It's our Veterans Chamber of Commerce chapter here in the IE. We'll be doing our leadership meeting series. So we'll have that event on July 31st. I know they're going to put the link up for us. It's a free event. We'd love for you to join us. It is really designed for empowerment, where business leaders and business owners within the community can come to this event and really learn and expand their knowledge. And our actually our speaker for that particular event is going to be Stacy O'Byrne. And if you know Stacy, I know, Mark, you know Stacy, and you could probably give her a testimonial, because I know you two have connected too.
Yeah, she's the oil. She is the mindset of success. And I'm telling you, if you've never listened to her speak, if you don't know her, come listen, come get in touch with her.
Yeah, it's a great event.
She is the empowerment of I can't becoming I can. And it's really that important. Really.
And I think she was the one that shared with us, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, I love her. She just got up in my grill and shared with me, Mark, your butt is way bigger than your ask. And I was put back.
She's a topic on that too.
Yeah, you don't get too many people come. I don't have too many people come up with that kind of horsepower and have
or be that bold, right?
You know, she won me over. Right.
Great stuff.
Anyway,
well, thank you. Oh, so anyway, we're out of time.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to share that Veterans Chamber of Commerce is going to be such an opportunity. So if you can allocate time to be there, you'll want to be there. We're going to talk about the structure of that. That's near and dear to my heart. I'm passionate about that. That's Shelley and mine's project. We've been empowered as assistant executive directors to fulfill this. And we're going to have business, whether it's workshops, whether it's speaking, whether it's resources, whether it's city or community or veterans resources. You do not want to miss this.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. That's wonderful. And again, thank you to our listeners and folks that are watching out there live on YouTube and Facebook. You've joined the Veterans Chamber radio show today. And we want to thank our guest, Mark Maes, and with Maes and Associates. And once again, our sponsor, Never Forgotten Media, with Michael Woods. And catch us next time for the Veterans Chamber Radio Show, Fridays at 1:30 live. And until then, we'll see you next time. Thanks, Mark.
Shelley, thank you so much. Be well.
Thank you.